Right folks, so we've got today the next repair from mystery benefactor Alan. This is a repair to go back to him, and it's an Intek M-130, so we're moving away from 2781 today and doing something which is only that few years old. I think they're 2014-ish. I think they're just before the change in legislation where AM became available to UK users on CE approved equipment. Because this is CE approved equipment, we will be able to use AM, but it won't automatically set that up, I'm sure. So something I don't often have is I've got the original sales blurb for one of these. I think what I like about it, it hasn't got a stupid amount of knobs, hasn't got public address. You can see that the case would accommodate a set with an external S meter, but this isn't on this set. Well, there we go, and there's all the blurb, and Sertel seem to be involved. So it's supposed to do, it says maximum power output 4 watts. Doesn't say it'll do, doesn't say every one will do 4 watts. And it says the deviation for FM is 1.8 kilohertz, which of course is too little. It needs to be 2.2. So there's no way that it's going to work how we need it to in the UK. 85-90% on AM mod is of course absolutely fine. And on receive 0.5 microvolts with 20 dB synad. Right, and the same for AM, which AM's usually deafer. Anyway, always nice to read the blurb. And he wants this tuning for 80 channel AM and FM. It's a working set. It's here for optimisation. We've still got a CT on the air preamp of his, which was waiting for parts, which have now come, but then it isn't going to be a quick job. So TTI and Intek seem to appear about the same time, and I have to admit preferring the Intek products to the TTI products. Right, shouldn't be any surprises. Might be able to do it without unsoldering the lid. So we can see the modulation transformer there. At least it's got adjustable frequency. We won't be touching the VCO. And we've got a half-baked idea of a service manual, which is what came in the back of the instruction book. So we've got a squirky diagram. Never know why you need a PCB blank. We've got, yeah, in German, there we are. I think the several models use the same board, and I've not got my stronger glasses. How daft. What does the board say? It says M-130 Plus 2011 revision 4. I don't like spikes there. That actually takes away your RF power. Bearing in mind most of my work is at UHF. I'll chop that later. I want to smooth that off. You've got a sharp bit. I'm not going to do it now because I want to look at the before and after. It may make no difference, but it's just correct procedure. So I think we've really only got a couple of adjustments on the transmitter, the rest of the receiver. try and work my way through the circuit diagram. Right, we'll see what it does. So the factory original mic has come with it. It's 4-pin on these. Power supply on, 13.8 volts. There we are. It's lit up in blue and is on EI. Well, it doesn't want to be on EI, does it? Just try that again, just in case we can alter it while it's flashing. No, there'll be something like, without getting the instruction book out. No, it's not that. It's not doing UK, is it? Is it two together? No, the key the mic can do it. Is it all three together? No. Is it both those together? No. Right, here we go. So, once again, I'm going to end up having to look at the instruction book. So luckily I previously scanned the instruction book of our sample, and so we've got to press, no wonder I can't find the permutation. Take that lid off, it's going to end up shorting me out. Press and keep press the up key. Simple as that. Then what? Press the PTT or wait 5 seconds. So now it should allow us to do UK channels, and when we press the AF it should go to CPT, or shouldn't it? We'll show channel number A. Oh no, it'll be U. I think we just scroll down and up. Yes, so it wraps round. So it's CPT, they go up and down. If we go up, it's now UK. So that's how it works. But we'd better do everything at UK channel 1, so we're in the centre of the band. We could do it CPT channel 40, it's the same. So, here we go. That was easier than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be a right permutation. Doing 2.9 watts. It says high, what does that mean? High. Oh yeah, because in Germany at the time, you got low power, which was 1 watt, hadn't you? So just modify our paperwork. So it's going to be channel 1 CEPT, channel 40 UK, channel 1 UK. So that's going to be our centre tune-up channel. We're going to add to this AM mod. There we go. We did one of those little CRT mini sets for him once before, but he didn't like it, so bit small, aren't they? So let's go through what we've got. We're on channel 1, and it's doing 2.85 watts. Let's put down 2.9. So UK channel 40. Is 2.9, and channel 1 CPT is 2.8. Doesn't have low power because it's not a 2781 set, and by that I mean I've just discussed low power. That is when it's set into a German mode. I think it was AM's 1 watt or something. That's been and gone, and we're not in Germany anyway. So we shouldn't be having to do the VCO, and I wouldn't know how to do it anyway without a lot of working out. So let's see how on frequency it is. This test set's been on 20 minutes, so we'll take some of this with a pinch of salt, and we'll do it with channel 1 UK. So I'll just pop it up. There we go. Put the squelch on just for now. So at the moment, current consumption is 1.158 amps. The deviation, if this is, I'm going to have to set the deviation meter. While it says 2.2, it may be lying. I'll just put that in little letters because the Marconi test set, as you know, has got some capacitors with issues in its deviation meter. Not in the AM one, just the FM one. So the frequency, let's go to the frequency counter. Have we got picture in picture on? No, we haven't. So it should be 27.60125, so it's slightly low. 27.60094. So that's not scary at all, and it's well within normal. But I may as well adjust it while it's here because they do drop with age. And these are older than I thought now. You know, this one's 11 years old. Oh, that's ideal, isn't it? 60126. So normally we're doing them on channel 20, but as I say, we're doing it at channel 1 to be in the centre of the band. So we'll have to come back to AM because I'll have to reprogram it for another country. So where are we? Does it have a meter on it? Nope. Good. I'll tick that because it's LED lit. Doesn't have that. That works. Those work. And those work. That works and that works. We're doing alright. So with that we'll put 27.60125 in the signal generator. I'm hoping we can get a scratchy corner test done this evening. It's Sunday. If I can get this done in 20 to 25 minutes, we can get a scratchy corner test done. I actually enjoy them when we go to the 5 mile point and switch between the different modes and that. Right, here we go, 2760125. Hang on, what's that? Oh, auto squelch. That's something else to add then. So I'm going to plug the extension instruments in through the speaker thing, which we can't hear, you can't hear very well, even if I can. Right, so we're going to put the cyanide meter up. And we've got 0.9, and we've got 0.74. And for 20, if it will do it, it is 2.1. So you say, now Mr. Tango, what about in the sales blurb, how it said that this radio was 0.5 microvolts at 20 dB? Well, please press, we're in EMF mode on our test set, which is the hardest to achieve set of figures. If we put it into PD mode, we'll have an easier to read set of figures. Now let's see what 20 dB is. Well, on our test set it is 1 microvolt, and so it's a bit yeah, 0.5 would be there, so it's about 15 dB. So they probably thought of some other easement as well, but yeah, it's like fuel figures and they've taken the spare tyre out and no fuel in it. Right, so that works fine. Squelch threshold, let's have a look at that. Take myself back to EMF mode. Unplug the test equipment. Full squelch. 1 micro, I'll put the attenuator on, then you can see this happening. So 1 microvolt, 3 microvolts, 10 microvolts, 30 microvolts, 100 microvolts. That's where I want it to come in. 300, and it's coming in at 1 millivolt. We'll just get a fine tune on that. It's actually coming in at 6.8 millivolts. Now put auto squelch on. Let's see where that is. 1, 3, 10. Get a fine tune on that. It's 9.6. I haven't got a problem with that. It's probably a little bit high. And the sensitivity of the squelch, we're back to normal squelch. .82. So that's all pretty good. It'd be nice if we could bring the power up a little bit on this, but that's typical of new sets. Just see if there's anything obvious in this bit of data we've got. This is about as much use as the graphs on an Amstrad tower system. Let's see if we can make anything out on this bit. Preset squelch is RV1. RV4 is preset squelch, so it's not an auto squelch, it's preset. I'll still put it down as ASQ, but it isn't. RV5 looks to be deviation. RV3 is going to be the low power preset for Germany's 1 watt thing. So we shouldn't need to touch that at all. It's not relevant. So that's the one I don't have to fiddle with. Because it says low there, and we've got the transistor which is doing the power regulation there, and RV3, that's where I've come to that from. So I think it just leaves us with AM mod, and by process of elimination that must be VR2. Well, that's where we are with it anyway. So the first thing I'd like to do is the transmitter, so I'd like to turn the power up. It doesn't appear to be a power preset. Let's see how many potentiometers we can find. There's RV5, which actually is labelled as mod. If I'd have looked, I could not need it to have poured over the circuit diagram. That's FM mod, I would think, is what it's getting at. Then we've got RV3, which it doesn't say, but we came to the conclusion was low power. We've got RV2, which I think is modulation, and I can be totally wrong on most of this. I don't know where the others are. We've got 1 and 4 to find. Hunt the preset. Oh, there we are, 1 and 4, they're both together. Just what you'd expect. One of these was going to be AM detector, and one of these is going to be the FM demodulator one. So let's just see if we can. IFT4 looks to be the FM detector, and IFT5 looks to be the AM detector. So IFT4 is that one, and IFT5 is that one. So that's the FM detector, that's the AM detector. So I think that's mod, but let's just turn it up in case it's a power preset. Let's go back to the main meter. You want to see if I've made any changes. No, so that is going to be AM mod, I'm absolutely sure. We'll come to that. So there doesn't appear to be any high kind of power adjustment. It's just a matter of it being tuned for maximum, and there isn't that much to actually adjust. IFT 8, IFT 7, that's it. And that is 7, and that is 8, and everything else is preset. So I don't think we're going to get anywhere. I'll go to the 3 watt scale. Now, just make sure the placement of these. That's it. I'll just check that RVP doesn't affect high power. Yes, it does. Distinctly says low power on that circuit diagram. So we've now got 3.5 watts. So we'll cross the L over, and that's power. Once again, I'll just check that we're right with these. And as ever I say, this is a commercial two-way radio test set. You put this on a hobby meter, it probably says it's doing 7 watts. Good. Well, that's a help. So we now have 3.5 watts. So let's go up the channels. Oh well, we're going down. So channel 1, 3.45. Channel 40 UK. .4 watts. So it's about balanced. We've got it, especially with it being 80 channels. So if we were setting this for 40 channels only, like we would for most of the customers, we would have got probably 3.45, 3.5 and 3.45. So we'd have gained another foot range, wouldn't we, at the extremes? Right. So deviation. I'll go over to the deviation meter on the other test set. Let's see where we are. Wow, it's 1.8. So is this mod or is this deviation? Wow, it's deviation. So it was 1.8 kilohertz, and now it's 2.2 to a peak of 2.5 kilohertz, where we wanted. See what the Marconi test set makes of that. Wallow. Wallow. Do you know what? The Marconi test set says it's exactly the same. So that's not playing up now, but it was when we started off. I'll do AM later. As I said, TX current 1.353. Which is quite okay for a modern set. So back to this. I would have written it down. So we've definitely had power. We've definitely done deviation. Power was RV3, and so we think modulation is going to be 2. Right, we'll go over to the receiver. So I'll plug it back into the test equipment. And we'll look at the detector, put that up on the oscilloscope. Very slightly out. I better turn the squelch down. So now we're on the deviation meter, and we'll just put that up on the inset picture. So at the moment, let's see where we've got a gain. For 12 dB I've got 0.88. Is that what we had before? 0.9, yeah, somewhere around there. To about 4 dB, and we'll go through the receiver. So these look like they're variable, but they're not. Well, they might have been at the fraction and they've glued them shut. Wow, that's a change. That's a right improvement. That's it. So we've now got a reading of channel 1. We've got 0.5453. I'll be ungenerous and say this is channel 1. Channel 1 UK, so we're in the centre of the band. 0.54 microvolts. For 10 dB, .45. For 20 dB, it's just shy of 1. Change scales. 1.25. Now you know what we're going to do. We're going to switch to PD mode again, and see what we get now. And I could say 0.64. Still not there 0.5, but 0.64. Right, so squelch is next. Back to EMF mode. Take the equipment speaker out. And let's see what we've got with the squelch at full. I want it to open as 100 microvolts, so I'll put this back on the attenuator. We'll adjust the preset. I think we said it was 1. No, it's 4 for... yeah, squelch is 1 and autos is 4. That's it, 100 microvolts. So now I want auto squelch, which is preset squelch, just a bit more. Do you know what? Now we've done the receiver. The preset squelch is around 3 microvolts. Yeah, it's spot on 3. We'll leave it at that. That's fine. Wow, it's come right. So see what the sensitivity is. So squelch sensitivity set to threshold. That's threshold. 0.3. That is an improvement. Right, well, that's everything except AM. So we need to get it into a country code for AM. So it was the up. We want E1. Or is it EU? It is. But in EU mode it's selected low power. So, is it E1 we want? Yes, sure it is. There we are. E1 for CPT AM plus FM. So now we're in AM and the power is doing 4 watts just the same. Good. So we need to retune the AM modulation meter so we can read AM. The easiest thing for me to do is to go to channel 40. Wallow. Wallow. It says 90%. Wallow. So just for the giggles, we'll go over to this meter and make sure that the preset we never found is indeed AM mod. It is. Voila. There we go, we're still at 90%. Well, it was 88% before. Good. So that's that done. We need to just check the detector. So now we want what frequency on our signal generator? We want 27405. So 27405, let's go to the frequency counter. I'll do. So I'm going to switch it to FM. And we already know what the sensitivity is. Now we'll switch the test set to AM. Just like that. And we do the detector. So just plug the test gear back in. Look at the oscilloscope. Put 100 microvolts on like we would for FM. And the detector for AM is IFT5. I'm not even showing you it. There we go. See whether we can change that at all. Miles out. Good. That'll louden it up a bit. And let's see what the sensitivity is. So over to the cyanide meter. Whatever they say, AM's, in my experience, always been less sensitive. So 100 microvolts. Let's see where we are. 3 microvolts. Yeah, it is. So on AM, just as you'd expect, it's 1.4 microvolts for 12 dB cyanide. You're 1.1 for 10 dB cyanide, and it's doing 3 for 20 dB cyanide. So it's always, in my experience, been the case. So what can AM hear down to? Let's find out. That's 1 microvolt. And we hear 0.3. Yeah, just about 0.3. And if we go to FM, there's 0.3. You can hear about 0.24. Now then, just finally, I'll do this on FM. Let's just go back to the power meter. 3.9 watts. That's now it's cooled down, you see. Yes, 3.9 watts when it's cooled down. So when I announce these figures to Mr. Chippy, it'll be 3.9 because the set will be cold. So, you know, I can alter these because that's now how it is. Just put to channel 1. It's 3.6 now. I'll come back to the UK set when we've reset it for that. Yeah, I wanted to look at this transmit thing. Go back to channel 40 where we were. Soon dropping, it's now 3.6. What I want to just do is cut these spikes off. It really affects UHF. And do a smooth solder. Like that. So now I can't catch my skin on anything sticking out. Has it made any difference to the power output? No, not at all. But it would at UHF, and it may help with interference. So I'll set it back to UK channels. So it was worth sending in. Channel 40. .8. Good. Get that screwed together. So the good news with this is it's never been fiddled with. So he's bought a nice genuine set there. Right, we'll turn the test gear off, put it on the aerial, which is Solarcon 99 or an Antron 99 or whatever kind of 99 without the ground plane kit. A single story building mounted just above gutter level. Get it the right way around eventually. That's on CPT. Okay, so we're on CPT. Let's go to channel 1. Is it 14 a Roger on CPT? 1-4 Roger. 1-9 a Roger. The UK. One a Roger. Nothing. That's when he's talking. Is that cell call or some daft kind of Roger Bleed? What's this do then when you're in UK mode? Nothing, because it wraps round. Right, I'll tell Mr. Chipping we'll do a scratchy corner test. So, there we are. Centralised on 80 channels and set up for AM as well as FM. And that AM reception was well out. Thanks for watching the Intek M-130 from around 2012.